All right, welcome back. We're doing our best here to bring you the best of the information you need to know, keep you educated, aware, and alert of what's happening. And we're getting a lot of feedback from audience members. You can email me at jt@liquidlunchtv.com. You can call us. You can direct message us. Try, if you can, to go out and follow us on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, because we're transmitting a lot of messages and I'm talking to a lot of people. That's some viewer feedback, and we appreciate it, and we're trying to be here at least to lighten the mood a little bit. Now, to really turn up the heat on what's happening, like she does all the time, we're joined, Jennifer Borcuevas, of course, is joining me today as my special guest host. And Tisha Powell is always special when she's here. She's a nationally recognized legal analyst. She's an attorney. And she's also the author of the book, Trump Must Win. Tisha, how are you? Give me a little elbow. Give me a little, there we go. All right. Yeah. No, you didn't hurt me. Good job. So, Tisha, one of the first things I want to talk to you about is, no matter what, the left wing, they've said a few nice things about the president lately, the last couple of days, okay? But he's under attack for calling it the Chinese virus, okay? It originated in China, first of all. We had the Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. We've named diseases after their originating places for decades, maybe centuries. Take a look what Donald Trump had to say about this, and then I want to get your views. This is going to be fun.
Keep calling this the Chinese virus. There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. Comes from China. I want to be accurate.
About Chinese
yeah, please, John.
Please. The aides behind you. Are you
I have
with
great.
this term?
I have great love for all of the people from our country. But as you know, China tried to say at one point, maybe they stopped now, that it was caused by American soldiers. That can't happen. It's not going to happen. Not as long as I'm president. It comes from China.
Tisha, is it a Chinese virus?
Yes, I said it on Twitter. It's not a Chinese virus, it's from China. It originated from China. As a writer of 2 books, a script writer of 50 TV shows, it's easier for the brain to understand, because remember, history has to document this. We're all eyewitnesses, so we're going to be telling our kids and our grandchildren this. It's going to be easier for the brain to understand it came from China, so that's why we call it a Chinese virus. Now, we are not upset with the Chinese. I mean, we don't eat bat here in America, so I'm not judging anybody, but I could just tell
Speak for yourself, will you? No, I'm not. I give up bats for Lent.
Because, well, that's where they said the virus came. No, we're
joking,
laughing. But they said that's where the virus came, that there are still Chinese who are eating bats, and that's what caused the coronavirus. So, like, we're not upset with you guys for doing what, you do, but we're just saying it came from China, and so we call it the Chinese virus. So don't get offended by that. If it came from America, we'd say it's the American virus, but it came from China.
Jen, is this overkill? It's like, do you think people are going to go out and get mad at our fellow Americans who are of Chinese descent because he's calling it a Chinese virus?
Look, when people are anxious and are in survival mode, our coping skills are very low. Our threshold for any sort of reasoning is low. So we are going to try to blame wherever we can, point blame I think we're overthinking it, and
it's a little overkill.
Yeah,
I think so. Now, I may have mentioned that I gave up bats and rats for Lent, but it's well known that in these wet markets in China, they unfortunately eat bats and rats and snakes and dogs. And Senator John Cornyn weighed in on this. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Or the president calling it the China virus, Chinese virus. Does it seem like that's helpful right now to call it that?
That's where it came from.
But is it helpful? It alienates people. It sort of sends tones like there's someone to blame, that there is a group of people to blame.
Well, I think China is to blame because the culture where people eat bats and snakes and dogs and things like that these viruses are transmitted from the animal to the people, and that's why China has been the source of a lot of these viruses like SARS, like MERS, the swine flu, and now the coronavirus. So I think they have a fundamental problem, and I don't object to geographically identifying where it's coming from.
Tisha, I tend to agree with Senator Cornyn. I mean, we know they eat rats and bats and dogs and snakes. I mean, that's probably where this came from, right?
Yeah, that's what that area, the Wunyang, it's known for eating bats, and people, eyewitnesses see it there, and so it's a, it's a Chinese virus. It's from China, so why not call it a Chinese virus?
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a heck of a lot of sense. Now, I wanted to bring this up a little earlier, but I'd like to get you guys' opinion on this. In China, I have floated out, my own opinion, conspiracy theory, that maybe somewhere behind this, China wanted to cause a global deflationary event because they had some problems, right? And the Wuhan had hit them. And most of the people affected are over 75, men over 75 and 80, right? That don't have pre-existing conditions. And the World Health Organization says that 50% of the medical costs in a person's lives are borne in the last 2 years of their life. So could it be possible that China didn't really mind if they put this strain out there and a whole bunch of 70 and 80-year-old men died off? Could that be possible?
That could be possible, and the reason I'm saying that is because I've always hosted Chinese au pairs. People over 60 don't drive in China. And that tells me that China's really want to kill their older population. So,
well, I don't know if they want to kill them, but
well,
I understand what you're saying. It becomes more and more of a cost on the government as the people age.
Yeah, because we don't have a restriction on people over 60 driving in America. Probably we take their license, 90, 95? But in China, you're over 60, they consider you old. So I'm not surprised about that theory because that sounds like something China would do.
Jen, I know we were talking a little earlier, and we were talking also about the gym bans now. This is a place where people usually go to blow off steam and stuff.
Yeah.
Now gyms are even closed here. So what is this doing to people's psyche?
Yeah, look, the gym is an outlet for most of our country. And this is going to impact because when you start taking people's coping skills away, but I'm not surprised. But this is where people are going to their lives are being changed. They're going to have to make adjustments. So if your way of coping was to go to the gym, you're going to have to recalibrate how you release the anxiety.
Now, you would think that this would be a place where people would go as a respite when they're quarantined, but now that gyms are closed, we got a major problem here. And Tisha, one of your favorite guys, Mayor de Blasio, right here in New York, who's overseeing this response, and he's supposedly cares about the working man and everything else. As they're closing gyms,
Socialist Bill?
Socialist Comrade Bill, as they're closing gyms, he actually went to the gym himself with his whole, gas guzzling, non-green energy motorcade, and then he doesn't understand why people are mad. Take a look at this.
Got to be kidding me.
The gym yesterday, and Twitter lost its mind.
I don't get it, but we'll move on with our lives. The gyms are all closed now, Allison.
Yes, I know that the gyms are closed. Is there any sense that you were late personally to get your arms around what the sacrifice that's required?
No, everyone is going to have to make sacrifice, but as our health commissioner said yesterday, people still are in new ways are going to have to get exercise.
All right. Well, Tisha, what do you think?
Well,
you fit in one gym visit while everybody else was locked out.
And that's what bothers me the most because I'm living, I spend time here in New York. Mayor, while you closed the gym, I didn't get to work out that day. And it bothered me a lot that you claim to be a socialist and yet still you made the rule and you couldn't even keep it yourself. I thought all of us were created equal here. I mean, I couldn't believe when I said socialist bill went behind our back and worked out. I mean, this makes no sense to me. Come on, Mayor. We're all going to do it.
Give me some elbow.
Yeah. We're all one. You remember you said we're going to be equal, so how did you get to the gym when we didn't?
We got to leave it there. Lots of news breaking. We're going to have it all for you right here. Take a quick break. Come back after this with Jan Dubowskis, Vice President of HealthInsurance.com.